Namaskar, my name is Dr. Kaustav Sengupta, and today in my series we'll be talking about Ambedkar ji and especially about his blue suit. Why Ambedkar ji used to wear a blue suit with a red tie and a white shirt? That's a conventional dressing imagery that we normally find him in. As such, in all the web searches, if you find, he will see him in a blue suit. There are multiple logics and discussions around it, but let me clear the cloud a bit. And we have done a deep research. I just went through a lot of documentations, and many researchers tried to find it out. So I will just try to simplify it and explain why he wore a blue suit, or where he used to wear a series of blue suits in a particular blue. As such. So if you see any imagery of Ambedkar ji, let me show you one as this, and he will be always wearing this particular suit color I am talking about, not the style but the color. And he sculptures, if you see his statues, if you see his any image anywhere, or even a painting or even a calendar, you will see him wearing blue suit. Ambedkar ji is the pioneer in Indian social systems. He is the one who wrote our Samvidhan. He is the flag bearer, and he is also a very strong ideologist. I respect him for what he has done for our country. But let's talk about his suit. And those who's not knowing Ambedkar ji or from the other country, please search him. And he is an iconic figure to shape up the contemporary modern India. As such, his blue suit has different logics. One of these particular thought process, which I believe is pretty true, is related to his religious ideology, or we'll say his consciousness of what he became at the second half of his life. In the year 1956, 14th of October, in Nasik, Ambedkar ji took 22 votes to embrace Buddhism. You must be thinking, what is the link of a suit and a Buddhism? Have you seen a flag, a Buddhist flag, or a set of Buddhist flags? No, I'm not talking about this sets of flags. Let me show you. I'm not talking about these flags, and this is a very common, flag what you will see in front of all monasteries and everywhere. This particular set of flags, what you have normally seen around, is not related to directly to Buddhism as such, but these are all about the natural elements as such. Some color represents Vayu, some color represents fire, some color represents like green, represents earth. It is not the actual Buddhist flag. So let me show you the actual Buddhist flag as such. I have one, and let me also describe this particular colors of flag. This particular flag is the Buddhist flag. So when I show this flag, let me show you clearly. This particular flag has colors. If you see that there are 5 colors, there is a blue, this particular blue which is called as Nila or Neelam. This particular blue is a representation of spirit of universal compassion. There is an yellow. This particular yellow what you are seeing is Pitta or Pitta. It's representing middle way, one ideology of Buddhism, which talks about a middle way of spirituality. Then you have a red. The red in Pali, it's called Lohitka or Lohita. This particular color shows about blessings, about wisdom, virtue, fortune, and also dignity as such. The color white what you are seeing about, it talks about leading of timelessness. It's about timeless affinity as such. And you also have orange. The orange is here. This particular orange is basically a color of wisdom, the wisdom of Buddhist teaching, Buddhist learning. And all of these actually creates one strip at the end in the flag, which is called a 6th vertical band or a fly. This talks about the color of practice, the spectrum, the aura of Buddhism, all of them together as such. So this particular flag has a representation of a blue. The particular blue what you are seeing here is the blue which normally seen in the clothing of Ambedkar ji. I will show you that dressing again. And this is how normally it is linked. So when Ambedkar ji embraced Buddhism, he propagated the idea of compassion, and that is why he purposefully wore a blue color, dressing as such. Also, this blue is very well related to another concept of Buddhism, because in other versions of Buddhism, if you are talking about Vajrayana or other ideologies of Buddhism, blue is also a color of consciousness. It allows you to remain conscious of who you are, and this was one very strong ideology of Ambedkar ji, Bhimrao Babasaheb Ambedkar ji. He said that you should be what you are. It's not about where you came from, what is your origin. It is about being conscious of what you are. And this is where I strongly believe the color of blue is related to Ambedkar ji's suit, and he tried to propagate two concepts. One is the consciousness and the second is compassion. So the moment you see his photographs of blue next onwards, relate yourself with compassion, relate with yourself with consciousness. Are we conscious as a human being? And this is exactly what Baba Saheb tried to propagate to us, and I think that is a great way of understanding yourself, creating one color concept, wearing a color to subtly tell what you have as a faith, as an opinion, as an ideology, and let others follow that color. But interestingly, if you see it, it's not anymore as the color of Ambedkar ji's dressing. It is the color of his party flag. He has floated a political party to represent his ideology, and the color of the flag was also similar. If you talk about it, yeah, it's Jai Bhim, and this particular color, the blue and white, is to be owned by him also as a representation of party flag. Now interestingly, across India, if you see any movement talking about people downtrodden, people who is being repressed, you will see this particular flag being shown everywhere, and it is one of the biggest representation across India, and I see it as a movement, as a way of representation of this country, and I see it as a great way of seeing things. Let me show you this particular picture where the flags are being carried around. So please relate blue with compassion, please relate blue with Ambedkar ji, think about being conscious of who you are, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Namaskar.